When I realized that decluttering is not one size fit all, it was game changing. It meant that all of those times that I felt stuck or felt like I was failing, it was because I hadn't found the right way to declutter for my personality, my energy, or my life. And so today we are walking through 7 decluttering personality types that I often see the most, who they are, how clutter shows up for them, and practical tips for what really works. When you know your type, you can stop beating yourself up for not doing it someone else's way and instead declutter in a way that actually works for you. Welcome back to my channel, my friends, or if this is your first time meeting me, welcome. My name is Christy, and I make content centered around realizing that no matter where we are in life, no matter our age, we are just on time to live the life of our dreams. And girlfriend, that dream life does not include drowning in clutter. Let's get into it. The scattered. You are full of energy, but easily distracted. You walk into the kitchen. You plan to put away some dishes, and while you're there, you see some mail on the counter. And so you pick up that mail and you go and put it on the bin. But when you get to the bin, you notice some shoes on the floor. So you pick up the shoes and you go to the bedroom, you put those there, intending to come back to the kitchen. But you see some clothes that need to be folded. So you folded the clothes. You get where I'm going? 30 minutes later, you have 3 piles half done in different rooms, but nothing actually has finished. This might be you if you are a creative brain with 1,000 different ideas going at once, or if you have ADHD, which makes it harder to focus on just one task. Do know, I do not tell you anything without sharing with you exactly where it is that I have been. And without a doubt, this is almost exclusively my personality type when it comes to decluttering. In your head, you say, okay, I'm gonna just do this real quick. And you start out strong, but then somewhere along the way, the follow through, it just gets lost. Clutter may shuffle around, but then it rarely leaves your home, which means that the mess feels endless and then your energy gets scattered right along with all of that stuff. So if you are a bit scattered like I am, what are some things that we do to fix that? First, work in time blocks. So for about 10 to 15, even up to 30-minute sprints. A timer is gonna give your busy brain a clear boundary. You don't have to wonder, how long do I have to do this? Because you know that it's just one sprint. I have found for me that it channels my energy into really short bursts and it prevents burnout and also room hopping. Next up, declutter by category, not by room. Rooms will pull you in a million different directions. But when you say, oh, I'm only gonna do books right now, or I'm only gonna do dresses right now, it limits those options. This has helped me so many times from wandering off mid-project and doing something else, and it also makes decision making a lot more easy. Plus, when you finish a category, you see progress in really every part of your house, not just in one corner. And then set for yourself finish lines, which can look like no more new piles until a bag leaves your house. For the scattered personality, starting is really easy. It's finishing that's the challenge. By setting a rule for yourself that nothing new is started until this other thing gets done, you train yourself to complete cycles. This then creates closure, which helps your brain to see something as being done. The overloaded, also known as the busy one. You are always moving and juggling responsibilities, and clutter just becomes background noise. So for example, you might be a busy working mom with kids' activities every single night. Or maybe you're a professional juggling a 9 to 5 along with a side hustle. Maybe you're a caretaker managing everybody else's needs before your own. Most likely your mental mantra is, I just don't have time. Dishes pile up, laundry sits in baskets, maybe that donation bag sits in your trunk for weeks. And the thing is, it's not that you don't care. It's just that you are operating at full speed. And so clutter then just gets pushed to the margins. So what do? First off, anchor decluttering in something that you are already doing. Maybe for you that looks like wiping down counters while the coffee is brewing, or sorting mail while dinner is already in the oven. The idea of this is to pair it with something that's already part of your day. For busy people, this is the secret sauce. You're layering a habit into your life without adding extra effort. One, it removes the barrier of finding time because you're not necessarily adding a brand new task. You're just attaching it onto something that you're already doing, something that's already part of your day. Also, our brains love patterns. When you connect decluttering to your morning coffee or your daily dinner routine, then it becomes automatic and not just another thing on your to-do list. I also want you to focus on micro habits, not marathons. You don't need 3 hours. In fact, for your schedule, you probably don't even have it. 10 to 15 minutes a day is enough to change your space over time. I just posted a video about micro habits that have literally saved my life. These work so well because small actions are so much easier to start, which means that you will actually do them. A 3-hour decluttering session feels overwhelming, so you're not going to do it. You're going to procrastinate, but 10 minutes, that feels very doable. That momentum, it builds motivation. And many times we want to keep going because we want to complete that project. But even if you don't, you've started something and you're seeing progress. The other thing with this is that consistency beats intensity every single time. Those daily micro habits really do compound over time, and they create sustainable change instead of burnout. And then I also want you to prioritize visible wins. Clear the counters, clear the sink, clear the entryway, make the bed. Clutter that we see daily drains our energy the most. But when we tackle those spots, it gives us an instant feeling of relief, an instant feeling of motivation, which then creates a ripple effect. The visible progress, it builds confidence, it gives you that immediate payoff, and it makes you want to continue moving forward. If you have watched any of my living in privilege videos, you know that I tackle everything from a privileged mindset. It's a mindset that's not about money, not about status, not about how you were raised, not any of that stuff, but recognizing that I don't have to settle. It's a mindset that believes and understands that I can have access to the best life. And the way that I show up for myself is a reflection of that belief. It is a reflection of that understanding. So when thinking of this from a privileged mindset, you have to stop telling yourself, I don't have time. Flip it into, I can create time in micro moments. It's not about having massive chunks of time. It's really about stacking those little wins. The gentle pacer. You deeply want progress, but your energy or your health just set some limits. Maybe you're dealing with a chronic illness, or you're managing fatigue, or you're just in a season of life where you are stretched so thin. On a good day, you dive in and you make a dent, but then it wipes you out, and then you don't tackle it again for weeks or months. You may find yourself thinking, I just can't keep up. You measure yourself against others or even against your own past energy, and it feels discouraging. Similar to the overloaded one, clutter piles up not because you have a lack of desire, but a lack of capacity. What's different is that the overloaded one has a lack of time. You have a lack of stamina and energy for the task. So how do we work with where you are? Focus on ultra micro sessions. So we're thinking even 2 to 5 minutes. Your body and your energy sometimes set the pace, not your willpower. By shrinking that task to 2 to 5 minutes, you remove the fear of depletion. You can sort one drawer or clear one surface or fill one small bag and instantly start to feel successful. Again, the goal is to build momentum, and those micro sessions are going to do just that without wiping you out. And then over time, you notice the progress that you have made. Focus on having gentle systems. Systems simplify your effort so that you don't have to rely on bursts of energy to see progress. That can look like having donation baskets or drop zones or some easy reset routines. A donation basket by the door means that you can declutter on the fly. Having a drop zone near the entry for, say, your shoes or your mail is going to stop things from spreading all over the house. Easy reset routines like a 2-minute nightly tidy are going to prevent clutter from compounding even when your energy dips. These systems are going to work with your energy levels instead of against them. And then honor your pace. Allow yourself to rest without guilt. If you're a gentle pacer, the guilt of not doing enough often weighs a whole lot heavier than the actual clutter. Start redefining success as sustainable change. That is going to allow you to celebrate your progress without comparison. We have to get it out of our heads that progress has to be fast in order to be meaningful, because it doesn't. By honoring your pace, you protect your energy and you make decluttering be something that you can and that you even want to return to, because it's not something that is going to burn you out. It's not something that you're going to dread every time you think about it. Having a privileged mindset here says, I can move at the pace that my life allows, and that's enough. You are not behind. You're building a clutter-free life that is in alignment with your reality. The overthinker, also known as the perfectionist. You have in your head the idea of exactly what it's going to look like, and now you are waiting for the perfect time to begin. You might be the one who likes to watch organizing videos late at night, but then you never actually open a drawer. Or maybe you are a professional who can make the most gorgeous spreadsheet for tackling clutter, but your closet door, it just stays closed. For you, hours, sometimes days and weeks and months go into planning and researching and watching videos and getting supplies, but none of the clutter actually moves. Stress builds, and then every time you look at that pile, you think, well, if I can't do it right, then I should not even start. So what do we do for the overthinking perfectionist? Start messy. Give yourself permission to grab a bag and start filling it up before you even have a bin or the perfect hangers. This is going to lower the pressure to be perfect. When you give yourself permission to actually start doing the thing, even if it's not perfect, even if it is not, your plan isn't all fully laid out, it moves you from the planning phase and being stuck there to the doing phase. Action creates momentum, and then momentum builds that clarity. Allow yourself to declutter in layers. Instead of trying to declutter everything all at once, break it into layers. For that first layer, it's just some easy wins, making sure I am getting things out that I have no emotional attachment to. It is just trash. For the next layer, then start dealing with some of the harder things. The goal is to immediately start making progress because progress builds confidence. And then when we have confidence, it makes getting to those other layers a little bit easier. If you need a little bit more guidance on what those layers are, I actually recorded a whole video on that to help you out with it. So that is linked in the description below. And then the other thing I want you to do is reframe success. If your measure of success is Instagram or Pinterest ready bins, you're going to stall out every single time. But when you reframe success as simply reducing what's been weighing you down, you immediately have a win. Less stuff equals less stress, even if it's not picture perfect. Going back to the privilege mindset, for this, we are thinking about peace over polish. A privilege mindset is going to remind you that the goal of your home is to serve you. Decluttering isn't about the bins. It's about recognizing that you can have access to freedom, which means not being weighed down by things that don't serve any real value or purpose in your life. The keeper. So you are someone who holds on to gifts, heirlooms, or expensive mistakes. Maybe it is grandma's china that you don't even like, but it's a family heirloom, or kids' artwork and they are grown and out of the house, or maybe it is some expensive designer clothes that you bought but you never wore. For you, letting go feels like dishonoring the memory or wasting money or betraying the person that gave it to you. You pause letting go because you're often thinking some variation of, but what if I regret it? And so you have these boxes and rooms full of stuff that has become a museum for your past. Recognize that the object is a trigger. The love, the connection, the story behind that thing doesn't actually live in that physical object, but you don't have to keep every object to honor that memory. Practically, that can look like taking photos instead of keeping everything. Maybe you have 20 boxes of your children's artwork. Instead of keeping them all, take a picture of even all of them if you want to, and then only keep about 3 to 5 physical items that truly represent your child's growth or their creativity. You can even create a digital photo book which visually preserves the memory of all of those things without it cluttering up your home. You can take the same idea and instead of keeping 50 pieces of something that you were given, then keep one of them, put it on display, and then allow yourself to let go of the rest of them. Also, share the memory with somebody else for things that you are grappling with letting go because you feel like they did not get the amount of use that you should have gotten out of them. Give them to somebody, maybe family or friends, who actually will use them and who actually will love them. Whatever it is that you decide to do with it, the goal is to make sure that your stuff is not keeping you trapped in guilt. The stuck one. You want the clutter gone, but every time you try to start, you freeze. Maybe you are the woman who stands in the doorway of a cluttered room, you sigh, and then you just walk away. Or maybe you're someone who likes to binge watch these decluttering YouTube videos or have all these Pinterest boards that are supposed to inspire you, but you never take the first step. Or maybe you decluttered before and then the clutter crept back and you're like, well, what's the point? Being stuck and feeling unmotivated with decluttering is going to show up as procrastination or feeling overwhelmed or feeling a lot of guilt when you think about it. You want the clean space, but it just feels too big, and then you beat yourself up for not starting. Something that I want you to do is to choose your momentum move. This is something that we cover in depth in my Declutter Your Life Happy Hour, which is a 3-day event where we just talk about decluttering every single part of your life. But basically what it is that you're gonna do one small thing that gets you moving. Pick one item or one drawer, set a timer for 5 minutes, and do something. The goal is starting, not finishing. So our brains, they crave completion, but sometimes we sabotage ourselves by making complete too big of a project. But when you start small, you are going to lower that resistance. You're going to build some quick wins, and then it tricks your brain into actually craving more. Create progress, not perfection. If you take out one bag of trash or you donate one box, that is a win. Focusing on perfection kills momentum. Focusing on progress, though, that keeps you moving forward. Use accountability. Tell a friend or a family member or somebody that you love, that loves you, that you are tackling this one project. Decluttering can feel very lonely and sometimes overwhelming, but when you know that you have other people cheering you on, then it gives you that motivation, it gives you that energy that you weren't able to give yourself. I have found that people who are a stuck personality type generally end up staying at layer 1 clutter, which is out of sight, out of mind. These are things that you don't want, you don't have any use or value for. It's probably just trash and you could get rid of it, but you haven't dealt with it, you haven't looked at it, so you don't look at it. This person never pushes into that sentimental or that identity-based clutter because they can't push past that initial barrier of just getting low-level things out. If that sounds like you, lean into those small bite-sized wins. Those are what are going to get you unstuck. The releaser. You realize that you have been living in scarcity mode and with a broke mindset. Maybe you've kept things just in case, like extra kitchen gadgets or a whole bunch of clothes from sizes that you haven't been in years. It could be bins of freebies or things that you have from a career that you're no longer in. You keep all of this stuff because part of you is afraid that you might need it one day. You might also be one who feels like throwing things away feels wasteful, so you hold on to them because you spent money on them. And so because of that, with that mindset, clutter lingers. You overthink where every item should go. Should I sell it? Should I donate it? It needs to go to the right organization. And it causes you to stall. Or you justify things that no longer serve you out of guilt or fear or this illusion of being responsible. For you, I need you to reframe waste by recognizing that the real waste is having things that you're not using. That expensive dress that you never wear but that's been hanging in the closet for years, that's not saving you money. It is wasting your peace every time you see it. The craft supplies that are collecting dust in your garage, they are not honoring your wallet. They are wasting your space and your energy. Thinking about things this way flips guilt into clarity. You start to realize that waste happened when the money was spent, not when you let the item go. I've said it before that holding on to it just means that you pay twice. Once with your money and second with your peace of mind. Set a deadline. If you decide you want to sell something or you're going to donate something, set a deadline for when that is going to happen. And I recommend maybe about 2 weeks. If it's not sold, it gets donated. If it's not donated, it goes to the trash. Whatever trash means to you. Deadlines keep you from turning your home into a waiting room for clutter. It is going to force action and prevent this clutter purgatory where things just wait until you make a decision about what is the right thing to do with them. Use abundance language. Remind yourself, if I need it later, I'll have what I need. This is going to shift you from fear to faith. You stop living like provision is scarce and you start trusting that as you need things, you will have enough. This rewires your brain to see letting go as a step toward abundance, not lack. You are ready to embody a privileged mindset. You just got to give yourself permission. Letting go here isn't just about the stuff. It's about releasing guilt and stepping into the mindset of privilege and abundance. So there you have it, 7 decluttering personality types. For all of these, if you are able and you have people in your life who are willing to help, ask. There is no reason that you should be doing this alone if you don't have to. The big takeaway here is that decluttering isn't just about stuff. I always say it, but decluttering isn't just about stuff. It is about knowing yourself, learning your mindsets, your energy, your patterns, your habits. Once you do, you can actually declutter in a way that works for you. And because we always have a little bit of homework, this is what I want you to do. In the comments, share with me, where do you most see yourself, or do you see yourself across a few different of these personality types? And then what is one step that you're actually going to take this week? If you feel like you need a little bit more help with decluttering, I have a lot of different options. One of them is a 30-day decluttering program, which is linked below. It is designed to meet you where you are and to help you create a clutter-free life. Also, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out with me. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next. Bye for now. You might notice that we are in a different space. Today we're in my office. My sister is visiting with the baby, and so we have lots of cooing and baby noises, so I figured I would just record here. And your girl is actually sitting on the couch. Like, what? Have we turned over a new leaf? Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. That is to be determined.